Hi, welcome to Gamesplaining. I'm Jeff the Gamesplainer, and today I am Gamesplaining Caylus. Caylus is a worker placement game. Our job is to send workers out into the city to collect resources and then use those resources to build the city up more. There's a little trail that goes all the way down the board that we will place our workers and buildings along as we work through the game. The game is broken up into a couple of phases. The first phase is placing your guys or sending them out to work. It costs you 1 coin to send them to work. This is your worker. When you send them out to work, they go and sit on one of the buildings. Then the next person takes their turn and so on until everyone has placed all of their workers. Black might place one, then red might place one up. Blue might place one up there, sorry. Then red might place one there. Each time spending 1 coin of money to place that worker. Once all the guys are placed, then we go down the trail from top to bottom and activate each building on the way through. So you get the benefits of the building after everyone has placed all of their workers. It costs you 1 coin to send 1 worker out to work until someone decides they don't want to send anyone out anymore. So red might decide, I don't want to send anyone out, and put their marker there. They will get 1 coin in return for stopping the workday. Let's assume they are connected to a union of some kind. From that point on, it will cost the other players 2 coins to send their workers out because their workers are now on overtime. If black then decides not to send any workers, the blue will have to pay 3 to send his workers out. There's a whole bunch of buildings before we get to this bridge, and then there's a whole bunch of other buildings that we can activate on the other side of the bridge. So let's talk through them really quickly. The first building here is where you can leave a guy to decide what you want to do later. Once everyone has activated all of their buildings, well, actually, once everyone has placed all their buildings before activation, the first thing it activates is this guy. And that might actually be, I'm activating him to come down to this one, and so he will get the benefits of that square when we get down to it. On this one, you get to take 3 coins back from the bank once it's activated. This one here does the same as the bridge, and we'll talk about both of those later. This one here allows you to trade in 1 coin and 1 purple work cube, or blue, I'm not sure what colour you see that as, I'm a little bit colourblind, I do apologise, let's call it purple, for a King's Favour. Once again, I'll talk about King's Favours later, but that's where you can get them. Here, the first person here, you pay 1 coin, puts their worker on number 1, that will put the game order, as we can see the game order up here at the moment is black, blue, red, that will put the game order, so say blue takes that, that will allow the game order to change. Blue comes to the top of the line and black moves down the game order line. Next up, we have the inn. If I place my player there, when it's activated, he moves across to here and he then stays there until someone knocks him out. How do we knock him out? By red going there. When they activate, that sends blue back home. Blue can be taken home at any time by his owner, but what that does is, even though we're on overtime, because I've got a worker here, it's only ever going to cost me 1 coin to keep my guys working. Next up, we work through the bridge in order of when we cut off. For the white guys, once again, same as up there, I'll talk about them later. Now we come into the resource squares. These 4 will give you a resource by having a guy on there. The 2 at the bottom have a little slashy line. It gives you the choice of which of the 2 colours to take. The top 2 ones are you get a grey or a brown, depending obviously on which square you're on. This one here allows you to trade in 1 of your resource cubes for money, and this one here allows you to build another building, a brown building or a wooden building. This square is exactly the same as that one. This one allows you to spend money to get a resource. 2 coins for 1 resource. Now, the brown buildings, or the wooden buildings, look like this. When you build a wooden building, you'll notice there's 2 resource cubes up in the top left corner. That's what it costs you to build it. So even though I spent to send a worker to that particular space to be able to build the building, it still cost me these 2 resources as well to be able to build it. So we need to get resources to be able to build buildings. If you can pick these two resources up from these squares back here before you get to that, you can use them straight away. and you would build that there. So that was the cost. It also has a points value in that top right-hand corner, and in the bottom center tells you what you're going to get by sending your workers to that building. So I spend the resource, take the points tracks around the outside of the board. I've covered it with things at the moment. You'll see why in a second. And anyone who sends a worker to that square in future times, red will get a point because he owns the building that the blue worker is going to, but the blue will get double the resource of if they went there, so it's worthwhile going there. If red goes here, it will always cost them 1 coin, even if that's what the bridge looks like. So it's worthwhile owning those buildings and building those buildings. So there's a whole bunch of those resource ones. These ones give you the choice of 2 blue or 1 pink, etc. They're the same as the other ones, except that they give you better benefits. So this one gives you 6 coins instead of the 4 coins that guy there gave you. Then there is also this guy here, which allows you, the same as this one, to build a stone building. And this one here, which allows you to build a green building or residential building. So I'll go to the green buildings first really quickly. Green buildings look like this. You put them on any building that isn't owned by someone else. So any of these pink ones are fair game, any of these clear squares are fair game. That one is only fair game if I am the red player. It will cost me a coin and a blue to build it. Say I build it there. Pay the coins, take the points. What this means is at the beginning of every turn, normally each person would get 2 coins to start their turn with. Every green building gives me 1 more coin, so I get 3. If I get more green buildings, more money. The stone buildings that can be built from this one, once again, they up the amount of resource you get. On this one, you get both the 2 pink and the purple, instead of having to choose between them like we did on the other, on the brown ones. But with the added benefit of, if someone else uses this building, I get a point, plus I get one of these 2 resources for myself as well. So that's really, really worthwhile. There's a whole bunch of those ones. These ones up the number of points that we can use, same as this guy, only better. Now you notice some of these have gold in them. Gold is important. We can collect gold from this square here, just like we collect 1 stone or 1 wood up there. We get gold here when we get down to it. These ones allow you to use gold in other ways and get gold in other ways. And I'll tell you why gold is important in a second. It's because of this card. This card allows you to change any green building into a blue building. And this is what the blue buildings look like. You'll notice the resource cost is a whole bunch of stone and 2 gold. You need to spend them to be able to build these buildings. You'll also notice the number of points available to anyone who builds this is a lot higher than, say, the stone building, which is only worth 3. But you'll also notice below there's 2 of these little markings. That's King's Favors. So it's another way to get King's Favors. I will talk about King's Favors in a little bit. Let's keep pushing forward. Okay, the other dude that we need to watch out for is this guy here, the bailiff and the provost. On this one here, it allows you to move the provost forward or backwards 1 to 3 spaces. Why would I want to do that? Because if I want to activate this building, the provost needs to be at least up to me or further down the track. If the provost is there, even though I've sent a worker here, I can't activate that building. But the bailiff, so the provost gets moved there and here. Here you have to pay. Blue would move him first. You pay 1 coin per square you want to move him, either forward or backwards, depending if you're trying to activate a building or deactivate a building. Once that's all happened and everyone's done all of their activation of buildings, the bailiff will then get to move. He will move. He's only a timekeeper, so he will. If the provost is ahead of him, he'll move 2 squares. If the provost is on the same space as him or behind him, he'll only move 1 square. So you can speed up or slow down the game through his movement. Why is his movement important? Because when he gets to here, here, and here, we get to the 3 scoring phases of the castle. That's 10 minutes up. That's the basis of the game. There are 2 more areas that I will put into another video, but that's the basis of Caylus. Thank you for watching. If you have any thoughts, please post them in the comments below. Otherwise, I'll see you in part 2.